call this story Rally to the Customer, and here's why. In 2017, I was working for a global ceiling tile manufacturer that produced over 1 billion square feet of ceiling tile annually. Now, for the most part, that ceiling tile is white. But every so often, a customer wanted a color that wasn't white. And the way we took care of that was to contract with an outside vendor to produce those custom color ceiling tiles. Now, normally those orders were pretty small, so it wasn't efficient to produce them in our own factories. Now, early in 2017, something changed, and the lead time started to grow, and the quality got worse. We were starting to get complaints from our customers, and it was giving our company a bad name. I was asked to join a team to visit with the vendor and see if I could help come up with reasons and alternatives that might improve the situation. So when we got there, they gave us a tour of their facility, and walking through the facility, I saw some opportunities, but nothing that was a clear indication of what had changed or why there was a problem. The rest of my team had business meetings with their leadership team in conference rooms, and I decided to stay out on the factory floor and maybe dig a little deeper and find out if people would tell me and help me understand what might have changed. So I did what I always do. I hung out. I met with operators, mechanics, supervisors, and let them show me issues they were dealing with. As we talked, they started to open up, and I learned that the company was building a new manufacturing facility a number of miles away. And the facility was going to be bigger, and it was going to have new technologies, but things weren't going so well, and it appeared to them that management had taken their eye off the day-to-day operations and was totally focused on trying to get this facility running with not a lot of success. So it became clear to me that this was not a problem that was going to be solved in a week or two. This was going to be months, if not years, before this vendor was going to get things back to normal. So on our trip back to the corporate offices, I met with my business team, and we talked about what I had seen, and basically I got assigned to come up with alternatives to produce other than at this vendor. I paired up with the marketing manager because he managed the vendor relationship, and we wanted to make sure we were respecting our agreements with that vendor. So I took the operations side, he took vendor management and quality, and we looked at alternatives. Now, one alternative was to use one of our existing manufacturing facility. Another would be to find another vendor. What we realized was this was a solution that was going to take months, and we didn't have months. The good news was we had another alternative. In our corporate center, in the basement, we had a pilot plant. And that pilot plant had all the equipment we would need to produce ceiling tiles. And it was used to test new products, new processes, and new methods. Now, it wasn't designed to be a manufacturing facility. It was designed to be a testing and development facility. But by looking at it, it became apparent to me that it would be possible to produce for a while, and checking our permits, we knew we were allowed to. But it wasn't going to be that simple. We needed to meet with the technicians. They were the ones that ran the pilot plant. They were the ones that knew how to run the equipment. They were the ones that knew the ins and outs of how everything worked. So I met with the technicians, and I told them about our issue servicing the customer, and they rallied. They wanted to make sure that we didn't lose our good name because of the issue at our vendor. 6 of them volunteered to go out with me into the pilot plant to see how we might connect all the equipment and run the facility in a day in, day out production basis. Do it safely and do it reliably. So we decided to come to the first part of the line, edge cutting, edge painting, and face painting, because those were the critical areas for new color painting. So we set up manually loading and unloading the pieces of equipment and convinced ourselves with a little creativity we could connect those pieces of equipment with conveyors and lift tables and load and unload the line at about 4 seconds per ceiling tile. Now, what we realized, though, was 4 seconds was good for a 10-minute experiment, but we wouldn't be able to sustain that over a multi-hour production run. So we decided to set our load and unload time to be 5 seconds. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, but that's a 25% loss of productivity. But we were more than happy to do that because it beat the zero production that we were making at that point, and we knew that this would do it in a very safe and productive manner. So over the next week to two, the technicians, being creative folks that they are, they built the conveyors and lift tables and all the connection and inspection points that we needed, and we had a line that we could run from one end to the other. Now, we also knew that we couldn't just load the technicians with this work day in and day out. They would never be able to do their other work. So in conjunction with the marketing manager, we reached out to the rest of the organization, and we got tons of people to volunteer to help us do this production safely and to the benefit of our customer. Anyone from technician to administrative assistant to vice president to accountant to HR volunteered to help us rally and support the customer's interests. Now, over the next few months, we were able to produce those colored tiles in this pilot plant facility in a safe and productive manner. We were able to get our lead times back to what the customer expected, and our quality went way up. And in the end, the customer never had an issue with what we did and was very pleased. But even better than that, people that had never worked together really got a sense for how critical it is to do this type of work in support of customer. They really understood what it takes to make tiles, and there became a bond from anybody that was on the team because they were in it together to support the customer and solve the problem.
I hope this story provided you with some inspiration to revisit your own processes. I have a lot more I'd like to share. Head over to pi-partners.com to learn how I can help. And check back from time to time for more Kaizen stories.